I'll call the meeting to order. Before we start, let me read the evacuation procedures. In the event of an emergency evacuation, an alarm will sound. Everyone should exit the building by way of the nearest stairwell in a safe and effective manner. If the nearest stairwell is blocked by smoke, use the other stairwell. Do not use the elevator. Once you have reached the main floor, follow the exit signs to exit the building and quickly proceed away from the building. Please be mindful of others evacuating and of emergency vehicles. You have two sets of minutes in your packet tonight. We have the regular business meeting of March 28th. Are there any corrections or additions to that set of minutes? Not, do I have a motion to approve? So moved. And second. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, like sign. Motion carries. We had a called meeting on Thursday, April 4th, for the subject of addressing the major road plan and the amendment thereof. Any corrections or additions to those minutes? If not, do I have a motion to approve? Second? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion's carried. Got two public hearings tonight. Rezoning request, Rural District 1 and Rural District 2 to planned Rural Resort District owned by Blackberry Farm LLC and Singing Brook Conservancy, located off of West Millers Cove Road, Joe Pye Lane and Pawpaw Lane. Roger, do you have any comments as we open that public hearing?
I believe John's taking the point on this one.
Okay.
I have no comments.
Is there anyone here tonight that wishes to speak to the rezoning request from Rural District 1 and Rural District 2 to planned Rural Resort District on West Millers Cove Road? If there was no one that wishes to speak to that request, the public hearing is thus closed. And it is open for comments and action by the Planning Commission. Any questions? Brad?
Make a motion that we approve it and pass it on to the full planning, to the full commission.
Okay, with recommendation for approval?
Approval.
Yeah. Do I have a second? Second. We have a motion and a second. If there's no further comments, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, like sign. Motion to pass it on to the County Commission with recommendation to approve the request passes unanimously. We have a second rezoning request from Rural District 1 to Rural Arterial Commercial for property located at 4907 and 4911 Highway 411 South. The floor is now open for anyone that wishes to comment to that request for a rezoning. Roger, do you have any comments on that to begin with?
Yeah, I can introduce it. It's parcels, tax map 100, parcels 27 and 28 that are adjacent to one another. Both parcels currently house commercial uses that are grandfathered and are currently being taxed as commercial. Both these properties have direct frontage on 411 South and are located outside the urban growth boundary of the city of Maryville. Each of these parcels consists of approximately 1 acre and has a maximum depth of approximately 475 feet. Since the maximum depth is less than 500, the request is to rezone the parcels in their entirety. And this request is consistent with the area along, with this area along 411 South.
Thank you, Roger. Is there anyone in the audience that wishes to speak to the rezoning request from R1 to Rural Arterial Commercial for parcels 4907 or addresses 4907 and 4911 on 411 South? If not, Public hearing is closed, and the floor is open for the Planning Commission for discussion or action. Anyone have any questions, comments? Do I have a motion? Do I have a second? We have a motion and a second. If there's no further comments or discussion, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, like sign. Motion carries for recommendation and moving on to the County Commission with recommendation for approval of the request. Preliminary plats, Robert Heron property off of Murphy Road by Bob Heron. Doug, do you have that one?
Yeah, I'm ready. It's item B1, preliminary plats. This is the revised Robert Heron property off Murphy Road by Bob Heron. 4 lots, 2 with county road frontage, and 2 to be served exclusively by a common driveway easement. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail, but I am going to read a little bit of the background. The concept plan was presented to the Planning Commission in September of 2012 as a 7-lot subdivision. The plat was revised and approved as a 4-lot subdivision with a common driveway in December of 2012 after a portion of the property was sold to a neighbor. The plat was then revised again. The plat was revised into a 3-lot subdivision that did not require the construction of a common driveway in February of this year. That says 2012. That should be 13. I'm sorry. The owner now wishes to revert back to the 4-lot design that will require the common driveway be constructed. Staff has advised this will require the reapproval of the 4-lot plat and will also require a pre-construction meeting prior to driveway construction. If that's confusing to anybody, I'll go over it again. The outstanding items to be completed are on the top of page 5, and I would like to read those into the record. Number 1, a copy of a maintenance agreement or property owners association documentation to be supplied to staff for review prior to final plat submission. And item number 2, a pre-construction meeting is required prior to any on-site work. An erosion control plan shall be submitted to staff at the time of the meeting. All instructions in the staff analysis shall be completed for the construction of the common driveway, paving of the entrance, and construction of all utility improvements.
So basically, we're rolling back to what we approved in December.
Yeah, we have to go through this process to do that.
Sure, I understand. Any questions or comments? Commissioner French?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I guess the only question I have is, it states that there is a existing home on Lot 1 that is served by a driveway that requires no additional improvements.
That's a separate
And
driveway.
I assume that driveway is coming off of Murphy Road, is
Yes,
that
sir.
correct?
Yes, sir.
Because it's not shown on the map.
Right.
Okay.
It's coming off Murphy Road.
Okay, and I guess my next question is that, according to our regulations, that one of these lots, I assume, can be subdivided at a later date, because it states that the common driveway can service 4 lots off of that particular common driveway. Am I understanding that correctly?
That's always the limitation, 4 lots.
Okay.
If there's room in the
So
back
there's-
on one of those lots and the soil's good enough and there's only 2, they could go to 4.
So we're looking at 3 lots right now off of the common driveway, right?
I believe 2.
2 lots exclusively.
Yeah, 2 lots exclusively. If you look at lot number 3,
I'm looking at both of those, so we're not counting lot number 3 as a
it's
lot
not,
off the driveway, because that's on their it's
they
part
own
of
the
the
strip of
property,
land.
right?
Right.
Okay, so 2 more lots can be serviced by that.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Any further questions, comments? Do I have a motion? a second? We have a motion and a second to approve, subject to staff recommendations and limitations. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, like sign. Motion carries. Lamone Sparks property off of Autumn Drive.
We passed one up, Mr. Chairman.
Oh.
Item C1, preliminary and final plat, page 5. The Robert Atkinson property off Lanier Road.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. By Carolyn Mailer, 3 small lots and 2 tracts greater than 5 acres along the county road. Outstanding items to be completed are on page 6. And there's only one signature plats which have been received and a $40 per lot platting fee. I will have you note, between lots 4 and 5, there's a driveway restriction for sight distance reasons. That's what that is. Kind of hard to see, but I just wanted to point that out in case you were wondering.
Good.
That's it.
Commissioner McClellan.
I have to abstain on this item, but I can answer any questions if there are any.
Okay. Commissioner Kirby?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. All lots are fronted on Lanier Road, and all lots are going to have separate driveways, correct?
Correct.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Make a motion to approve with all staff recommendations.
Do I have a second? Second. Brad. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, like sign. Motion carries. Let the record note that Commissioner McClellan abstained. Motion carries with staff recommendations and limitations. Now, Lamone Sparks property off of Autumn Drive.
Yeah, okay. Page 6, miscellaneous item. It's Lehman Sparks, right? Off of Autumn Drive, a variance request to add a 5th lot to the common driveway easement. The Lehman Sparks property is an 8-acre parcel. It's actually on the right side of the easement. And that is a 25-foot private easement that currently serves 4 tracts of land, as far as we can tell. Lehman Sparks is requesting a variance to the subdivision regulations, and I have the section for common driveway development. The restriction is, we just talked about a minute ago, 4 lots maximum off the driveway. If you look at their tract of land, you'll see that there's a house and what is labeled the proposed new lot, and then there's a barn above it, and then a house above that. There's already 2 houses on this tract of land, so they're already both using the common driveway anyway. They simply want to cut it off for family purposes. I'd like to remind the Planning Commission this is a variance request situation, and that the Planning Commission had 2 similar variance requests in 2011 and a 3rd one in 2012 for essentially the exact same reason, and all 3 were granted by the Planning Commission. Let's see if there's anything else I really need to note. I will just read the outstanding items to be completed. 1 is the consideration of the variance request by the Planning Commission. 2 is the common driveway note to be added to the final plat, and a note added to the final plat for the inclusion of maintenance of the driveway for both proposed lots. Number 3, acknowledgement of no objection by other landowners. I don't understand that. Acknowledgement of no objection by other landowners that are served by the easement as well. And number 4, signature plats and platting fee. If you have any questions, I'll try to address them.
Thank you, Doug. Any questions or comments?
Motion to approve with variance.
Okay, we have a motion to approve with the variance as stated, and a second. Any further comments or questions before we vote? All those in...
Quick question.
Sure.
We, approved tonight, he won't have to come back to a meeting for this, will he?
No, just bring us a real plat.
Is the parties requesting this present? You understand our approval is still subject on getting the agreement from the adjoining parcels. Okay. You also understand that further subdivision may not go quite as easily. Okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, like sign. Motion with variance is approved, subject to completion of the agreement document.
And the outstanding items to be completed.
Outstanding items to be completed.
Thank you.
Thank you, Doug.
Thank you.
Long-range planning?
Just want to, I've got three things. First is congratulations to the chairman on his voice being used during county commission meetings. I think that your voice was so clear and so concise and so understandable that they just took a tape out of one of our planning commission meetings, and they have some logos and stuff or some visuals on the screens, and it works very well for county commission. So you've let them off the hook. I hope there are no royalties involved. No. I only have two other things, reminders about education. And they're both on the same night, so you can choose which one you want to go to. It's on April the 30th. One is using soils and geology to secure a successful future. I've sent out an email on that one and also a reminder. So if you can get to that, you can get, I guess, about 2 hours of training. If you go to another one, it's ET Competes. That's the Plan East Tennessee version. It's on Tuesday, April 30th also from 6 to 7:30, so you can get an hour and a half at Pellissippi State Community College in Hardin Valley Road. I will be at the one in Hardin Valley Road. I will not be at the one that's in Oak Ridge, Emory Valley Road in Oak Ridge, but that's put on by East Tennessee Development District, and they provide their own certification. So if you go to that one in Oak Ridge, please do get your certification there and bring it back so we can account it. If you go to the one on ET Competes, I can certify that directly. And 2 people so far already have all their hours, Tom Hodge and Clifford Walker.
Attaboy.
And the year's not even half over. Thank you.
Way to go. Rest of you, get on the ball. Me included. Thank you. Meeting is adjourned.